Hi, everyone. How are you out there on LinkedIn? Glad you could join us. I'm Geraldine B. Thomas, founder of Smart Women Partner and Grow Rich. Tonight, we have Malika Simmons, our TEDx speaker, and our panel moderator. Malika, take it on, girl.
Thank you, Geraldine. Thank you. I am Malika Simmons. That's Malika as in I like a Malika. And I am a TEDx speaker. I am the creator of the Momentology Method, and I am the CEO of Momentology Media. And I'm very happy to be joined today by some wonderful, wonderful women that will help us discuss how you can use a TEDx talk or any other talk for that matter to leverage and capitalize on your brand. So let's start a little bit about. I'll talk about the TEDx talk because that's my journey, right? So I'm kind of the guinea pig, you guys, right? So
Yes, you
I
are.
did, right? I did a TED talk, and my TED talk was back in 2019, right before the world changed. And I knew that was going to be my rocketing off point. I was going to do this TED talk, and the whole world was going to open up. And then COVID happened, and I don't know what happened. I had a talk, I had a video, and I had me just smiling, looking around, scratching my head, like, what am I supposed to do now? And I had these wonderful ladies that you see before you, I would have known what to do. So we're going to talk about that. So let me tell you, I did my TED talk, and it was fantastic. It was life changing, life altering, all of the good things. As scary as I don't know what. I'm a former Toastmasters president, club president. So I've been on the talking circuit for quite some time. There's nothing like being on that red dot, y'all. It's just a whole different thing, right? But once you get there, what do you do after? Now you've got this great thing. It should be, you're a credible person. You've been on the red dot. What are you supposed to do? Well, luckily, I found Geraldine B. Thomas, who is the curator and purveyor of Smart Women Partner and Grow Rich, and introduced me to wonderful women who could help me, figure out now what do I do with this thing, my baby, my TED Talk, right? The one thing
Mhm.
I knew how to do is to use my talk to book another talk. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But I didn't have all the insight that these ladies will provide. So I'm going to just go around the horn in the way that I see it. And I want to first introduce the wonderful, fearless sales conversation lady, Donna Smith Bellinger. Please introduce yourself to the world, to the folks, to the people, and take it away, please.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Malika, and of course, congratulations on your TED Talk
Thank you, ma'am.
and doing that which some of us aspire to do. Because it's more than a notion. It's not like doing any other type of conversation. Not like Toastmasters, not like selling from the stage. It's an entirely different animal, but it also elevates you to a different category. Now, with me, my specialty is sales. So, Fearless Sales Conversations is a part of my brand, helping people to create the conversations that move people to yes. And I have been in sales for longer than some of these people have been around. And what I will be contributing to the conversation is how to frame the introduction and the value to the people that you are speaking to so that you can lead them to where you want them to go. And where you want them to go is yes, because only yes is yes. Not I'll call you, not I'll get back to you, not let me check. Only yes is yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And now, Miss Kimya, will you please introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're bringing to the table today.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. I am Miss Kenya, and my specialty is marketing. Hence, I am the chief marketing sparkler over at marketingsparkler.com. And when this idea was broached, the first thing I thought of is being proactive instead of reactive. And so today, I want to share tips that you can use once you have performed your TEDx talk. Like I said, what are you supposed to do next? I want to tell you what to do next from a marketing perspective so that you can live off of that TEDx talk for as long as you want.
Mm. We should have talked before,
Uh-huh.
girl. We should have talked before. uh, that was fantastic, and I can't wait to hear all the juicy tidbits. And so I will pass it over to Lynn Miller. Please tell us about yourself, what you do, and what you're bringing to the conversation today.
Thanks, Malika. My name is Lynn Miller. I am a strategist for monetizing content. And the reason that I can say that is because I've been in the learning business for over 25 years. And I can take that talk that you did. There was a lot of teaching in there, and we can turn that teaching from the TED Talk into lots of little teaching segments that people have to pay for.
Like the first
Yeah.
just
The people, what you saying? What people had to pay for? You got my,
They
you got my,
will. They will.
you have my full and undivided attention. So the last piece or another piece to kind of tie it in is I'm going to take it back to Geraldine for just a second, because let's talk about the reason why we even are having this discussion, right? This after the
Mhm.
talk is because first we had a before the
For the
talk.
talk, which
So
was
we had
awesome.
so if you all
Bravo.
missed that, y'all missed something I'm trying to tell you, right? So we had a
Yes.
wonderful webinar on before the talk, and that was really situated around how do you get yourself ready to stand on that red dot? What are the things that you need to do from an inside perspective, right? Because your outside existence is equal to your inside insistence. So it's the stories you're telling yourself before you get on the stage. And that's what we talked about with before the talk. And then as we got to the end, I think I might have just inadvertently blurted out, this was awesome. This was fantastic. Let's talk
Yes.
about after
After
the
the
talk.
talk.
And
Yes.
and never say anything around Geraldine.
No, don't.
Never, if you're not listen. Because she said, that's a great idea. We're doing it. So y'all, thank you,
Yeah.
Geraldine. So
Thank
Geraldine, can you talk a
you.
little bit about what Smart Women Partnering Group is about and collaboration is queen and what you're bringing to the conversation?
Okay. Well, we're all about LinkedIn and how to use it as a team. I mean, you don't want to use LinkedIn by yourself, talking to the same people day after day. You want to be in Malika's feed, Donna's, Kimya's, Lynn, and all those other ladies who have your target audience so they can see your genius. And of course, it's just fun. It's like this. This is co-marketing. We are all about co-marketing, taking a big idea, a great topic, breaking it down into all the little pieces. Because, Malika, she's a TEDx coach. And if she's going to help you get on the stage, like you said, what happens after the fact? So I knew that we needed to talk about sales and marketing and PR and, of course, creating an e-course. And then, of course, my thing is all about finding people to partner with to spread the word about your brand new e-course, your brand new sales package, marketing ideas that you came up with to help them come to life. So that's what it's all about, co-marketing. Teaming
That
up with women who have your target audience on LinkedIn and doing fun stuff.
and that's
And
what
that's
it's
what we
about.
do. We break LinkedIn down into its features and take the scary out of it and figure out how to make it work together, how to write content together, give events together, whatever it takes to get into each other's feed. We do it and have a great time doing it, like
And
tonight.
I love that you talk about fun. That is what it's about, and it's always fun when I get in a room with you, ladies. So I'm really happy about that. I'm gonna switch over and we're gonna start talking about some of these ways, right? So one, we're gonna start off with how to use your talk to book a talk, and so that's like I said, the one area that I did get right is that I have my I have my TED link and I put it on my signature in my email, and I use that to generate more for me as a speaker. And so I was very pleased to find out that sometimes, twice as a matter of fact, I got on the phone with a prospective client and they were listening to my TED talk. I caught two people twice. They're like, you know what? I don't even need to talk to anybody else. I've seen the first 5 minutes and I want to book you. That happened to me twice. So you don't think people are looking at your stuff, or they are looking and they are listening. And so I'm very appreciative of all the folks that use that as a referral piece. Because if you say, well, what do you do? And I say, oh, I'm a speaker and I do, oh, I did a TED. If you did, send them the link. send them the link and they'll send it to somebody else. It's quick because people don't like to do a whole heck of a lot, right? I mean, people are in your corner and they'll back you up, but how easy is it for them to just send a short link? So that's what I did. So the only thing that I can say that at least I had some proactive moment is I was sending that link out, y'all. Now I might not have sent any text beforehand or told them what the heck to do with it, but at least I sent it out, right? And so that's the thing that I did. But the one thing that I started to do, and this is a segue for Miss Donna, is that I started to say, wait a minute, I'm a TEDx speaker, right? So shouldn't that mean I should raise my rates a little, some? Like, I feel like that might be a thing that stacks up on the old resume there. And so that did start to happen as well. But I'm going to turn it over to Miss Donna to talk about. Yeah, I'm coming to you, Donna, and I said, listen, I just did a TED talk, uh, and I'm
And the
also
title of your talk was?
Momentous Life by Design.
Okay.
Um, and I want to know, can I use that to give me some more money? Oh,
Absolutely.
by the way, just so everyone knows, you don't get paid for TED Talks. just so we get that out of the way. Just so we get that out of the way. You do not get paid for TED Talks. TED pays you in notoriety and credibility, and you're supposed to do something with it. So, Donna.
Okay, so as you said, you don't get paid for it, but it does open doors for you to do a lot of things. But the reason that I said, what was the title of your talk is because your talk is built around the brand of your firm. So, using that title underneath that, you begin to immediately break that down into what is the return on investment for someone to hire you to come in and speak on one, two, three, these different bullet points that you have, the takeaways that you had in your TED Talk. I know that in order to do a TED Talk, you have to outline everything that you're going to be covering. And you pull from that to create the additional smaller talks, your offshoot, like the branches from your main trunk. The TED Talk is the trunk of the tree. And all of these other things are like the little branches and the little leaves. And that's the shade. And then it blossoms. And then all those little dollars. And that's your money tree. The money just starts to flitter down from it. So you want to take that and say, okay, I am, a TED Talk person. I have done a TED Talk. My expertise was X. And from that, when you book me to speak to your group, your team, book me on your show, on your podcast. Okay, number one, the value is you have your credibility and your tribe that you are now building. But what is the transformation that you will be offering to them as a result? Where can you take this? Retreats. Retreats can be huge for you, whether they are business retreats, whether they are other types of events, but you're going to be an event speaker. Second thing is you are going to write a book, and it doesn't have to be War and Peace, but it can be things I learned in creating my TED Talk. It can be a collection of quotes from other TED Talk people. It can be feedback from people who heard your TED Talk, but you're going to do that so that you have a small piece. And then on that, of course, it's going to say, TED Talk speaker, Malika Simmons, right there on the back with all of your other things. So if they say, we don't have a budget to hire you as a speaker, that's fine. What I want you to do is
I'm
purchase
taking notes.
one book
I'm
for
taking
every
notes.
person who's going to be in the audience. Okay? And that is how you can do that. So you're going to do all of these different things. And then, of course, with momentum, you're going to have your process. And you're going to create your process and trademark your process. And then they are going to pay you willingly for the expert that you are to come and deliver entirely or in segments your brilliance as a TED Talk speaker. So those are just a few of the things that you can do.
Fantastic. I'm seriously writing a bunch of notes here because I'm still gonna do these things, right? That was great. And one of the things that you said that kind of struck me too. So my talk, it was Design a Momentous Life with Momentology. But what happened is people started saying, well, what's momentology? So then I get to talk about the Momentology Method. So I created an intentional framework for living called the Momentology Method. People started telling me how they could use it. It's no better thing than your audience, your clients telling you what they could use it for.
And
I
there's
heard,
your book.
hold on, let me write that down. There's the book. And book. Right? So this is good. This is good stuff. Okay, let's go to using your talk to package your knowledge into money making gems. Money making gems. So our strategist Lynn Miller, tell us about these money making gems.
Well, these money making gems have to be interactive. So a TED Talk, that goes one way, right? You're speaking to them. Donna came up with a few more ways you can speak to them. And then there's the book where you can speak to them as well. And the book and the TED Talk, because maybe there's certain things that are emphasized and other things that are not, all of that can be used to create learning experiences for people who can't reach you and you can't reach them. And the best way to create a learning experience is to introduce an idea and then give somebody a chance to reflect on it. Give them a chance to interact with somebody to say how they would use it. And then finally, try it, like actually practice. So all those kinds of interactions is what makes learning, as they say, stick.
So tell me a little bit more about the for those people who can't reach you and you can't reach them. What do you mean by that?
Well, you can distribute it online. So my first job in learning was in online and more years ago than I want to say. So before it was by CD, now it's over the internet. And you can create small experiences that last anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, but they add up over time. And over time is when the training sticks. But you're creating small little experiences where they're interacting with you, they're interacting with material, they're interacting with maybe even other people if you do it for a group. Because you can do it for one person to do it. Like my course that I've created called 10X Your Expertise, I deliver that to one person at a time. Mm-hmm. It's just a way to standardize the way you do your work.
I like that. Standardize. So I was a policy person for many years, so I'm very process oriented, right? So I think of things in A.1, A.1.1, A.1.1.2. I'm probably the only person that still remembers the first regs that I ever read 20 something years ago. Because, listen, I understand process, but sometimes when you're looking at yourself and what you can do, all of a sudden it gets real fuzzy. Like it's real clear when I'm looking at federal regulations and how to do all that sort of stuff, right? But then when it's like, oh, here's the processes that you need to be, a successful and profitable speaker, it kind of goes right on out your head. So I need to see it right in front of me so I know what it is. So you guys are giving me great, great stuff. I got podcasts, I got books, I got training. Let's talk about how do I actually get it out there, though? How is that? How do I market myself to capitalize on the exposure of the brand? Momentology Media, Malika Simmons, all these kind of synonymous things that are going on, all these parts and pieces of me. How do I get that out there to the world?
Okay, so there are different levels of things that you can do. So I'll start off with the easiest things that any TEDx speaker can do.
You start off with easy because I'm slow.
All right. So it should be in your email signature. It should be on your about page on your website. It should be a page on your website, and you can call that page after the TEDx talk. And on that page, you can talk about the feedback that you've received. And so, Malika, when you said people were not only asking you about Momentology, but then they were saying how they can apply it. What I would suggest, and you can do this online, for those people who really liked your talk, get a testimonial from them. But get the testimonial and ask them, what was your key takeaway? So get a video testimonial if you can. Written is second rate, but it still works. Get a testimonial from your audience and ask them, hey, what was your key takeaway? They can give you a 30-second or 60-second testimonial. But in addition to the key takeaway, you can also ask them, why should someone watch my TEDx talk? And have them answer. And embed all of those testimonials and answers on your website. Now, if you get too many to put on one page, sprinkle those videos all throughout your website, because your website is your home base. And so, like you said, Malika, you're sending people links to your talk. I want you to send people to your website. So if you have all of this information on your website, then you don't have to send them to anybody else's digital property. And they will be engaged. Then they'll be dying to see the talk. Because if I get my testimonial, I'm like, well, wait a minute, where's this link? Where can I find this? And the challenge is when we send people to other properties, I don't know about you, but I'm like squirrel. So no matter where you send me something, the doorbell gonna ring, dog gonna run past. Who knows, right? Squirrel. So you never know if they can actually consume what you anticipated they would consume. But if you send them to your website, you know it's all about you. And so those are the easiest things. Then the next things you want to do is, like with your social media images and even the images on your website, when you got them cute selfies or your branded pictures, and that bottom right-hand corner, put, I'm a TEDx speaker. Or did you watch my TEDx talk? That's a subtle way to position yourself as that speaker without you having to constantly say it. You can just put a little button on your picture. Okay,
listen, y'all gonna be sick of me come the end of the week. You hear what I'm saying? Y'all gonna be sick. Why is Malika all up on my feed? That's because I've been listening to Donna and Lynn and Kimmy and Jeff. I'm sorry, go ahead. You got me excited. Go ahead.
Wow. Okay, so the next thing, and this alludes to what you and Donna were talking about. Okay, so that feedback that you're getting, so when you compile all that feedback and you create your book, this is what the people said about how fabulous my TEDx talk was. Okay, those are social media posts, because remember, I'm a social media manager. So I'm all about repurposing content. So anything somebody says is a piece of content. So those same testimonials that you got via video, that you got via written, or that people commented on, or they sent you in your email inbox, those are now social media posts. And the link that you put, then that can be the TEDx talk. Because if you say, I'm like I had a TEDx talk, okay, nobody cares. But
nobody cares what you say.
Nobody cares what you say. But if you that's just the truth, right? Nobody cares, because it's close to you. Of course you think you're fabulous. Why shouldn't you be fabulous? But if you put, Miss Kenya said that you need to watch this TEDx talk because you need to apply this to your brand, blah, 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 blah. And then you put that link and you tag me in it. Notice what you did. You shared, got credibility. You tagged the testimonial giver or the commenter so they'll see it. And what are they going to do when they see you tag them? They're going to repost it. So put the testimonial, tag whoever sent it, no matter which platform it is. Hey, apply them all. I'm not stingy with my content. You see me all over the place. And then add that link, and that will easily and immediately boost your visibility and credibility, because now it's not just you talking about how fabulous you are. Now everybody's talking about it. And that's something that everybody can do. And then, like they said, books, courses, but also don't forget to blog about your journey. People want to hear about how you got to that TEDx talk, because again, you're credible. Everybody wants to know how you did it. So I recommend you creating a series. It can be a video series. It can be a written blog series. Publish that on your website. And even if you don't have a blog, it's called an article. Publish that article on your website, that series of articles, and break down, like you said, with the before the talk, all the things that you have to prepare. So imagine if I go to Malika's website and I see a 3-part series of her before the talk, and then she publishes her talk, and then she talks about what happened after the talk. I'm like, I gotta get this girl. She is amazing.
Like a curriculum to me.
It could develop into a curriculum, depending on what the talk was about. You can develop a curriculum around. It's two things you can develop a curriculum around. You can either develop a curriculum around what your talk was about, or you can develop a curriculum around your journey and the process. So you have two options for a curriculum, but that's your foundation for it.
So let me just say how, so, to a hammer, everything's a nail, right? So Lynn is like, oh, that's a course. No, but seriously, there are so many things that we all are talking about that are very complementary. Because when you're saying, you said, yeah, that could be a course. And Donna's saying you can make some money off of that. Let me tell you how to sell it. And Kimmy is saying, let me show you where to put it. I love how you said, basically the short version is own your masters, right?
Yes.
So don't have other people, your stuff on other people's property that you don't control, because the Mark Zuckerbergs and the whoever else's can disappear or yank the plug at any time, and your clients are going to need to be able to get to you. So I love that you said that. I love talking about the journey, and we're doing a little bit of that. We talked about how we have before the talk, after the talk, and you can piece that out into several pieces. I'm about to do a Hulu special, y'all. It's going to be on TV. It's going to be on TV. I'm going to see the whole thing. I got all kinds of ideas coming in. And then the collaboration piece, when you were talking about tagging someone. So Geraldine, Miss Newsletter / tag me / tag everybody. Talk about what happens when you have a talk or a piece of content like a talk where you have all these pieces that you can tag somebody else on and highlight them and yourself, and how we all win when we create together. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, I can. First of all, I want to say, ladies, wow. Just wow. You're blowing my mind. You really are. And the way that I see that you can expand upon what everyone has said is to build a tribe of women. Your LinkedIn contacts right now are your tribe. They are excited and willing to share your information. They really are. And it's time for you to reconnect with your LinkedIn contacts. But when was the last time you sent a little hi to them? To say, this is what's going on with my business, what's going on with your business, and with you sharing information about your talk, those testimonials, you could do all that with them and ask them to share their stuff with you and be willing to just share. Just put it in your feed. I do it all the time. It's so easy. It really is. Just say hi. It's been a while since we, talked or whatever. This is what's going on with my business. I'm not being salesy, just sharing. And I ask them to share. And I say, give me something that I can share with my connections on LinkedIn. And that's the way that it should be. And if you do that on a continual basis, you will build up a tribe. You will reconnect with your LinkedIn contacts, especially those who are your target audience or who may have your target audience. Well, that's the ones you should be reaching out to, because we all have contacts that are gathering dust.
I love that.
A
And
lot of dust.
I want to pivot on that just a little bit over to Donna when she said that not being salesy. Sometimes we do want to be a little bit salesy, but it's about conversations. And I love how you just said, Geraldine, that it's about these conversations. And Donna's always telling us about how these are all just conversations.
They're service conversations.
That's
all they are. And even when I set appointments, I will say, I have a cat I'm going to give to somebody. I will say, let's have a no sales conversation. I won't sell to you. You won't sell to me. And that's a specific type of appointment that I set up. But when with the brilliance that you have from doing that TEDx and sharing great value during the point of that conversation, people are going to lean in and say, how can I get some more of that? To which you will remind them, I am a business owner.
Love it.
All right. So there, we can definitely discuss my services.
Don't y'all love how she just make sure you get, did you hear what I had said was right? But I appreciate that so much because we get drawn into these things that are our passion, and we forget that we are actually I don't know
In
how we
business
forget.
to make money. Yes.
Right. The mortgage reminds us, right? The mortgage is
Yes.
gonna come that remind us, oh yeah, that's right. I'm supposed to be making money.
Mhm.
You can have passion and profit at the same time. And so
Mhm.
getting past the, oh, I was just speaking, we try to get that word, we get that word just and try. Y'all catch me when I say that. Just and try. Throw them out the window. You are doing the thing. And that's what
Mhm.
this is about. That's what this conversation is about. That's what the collaboration is about, and finding the parts and pieces that maybe you just don't do that well, right? So if you're a great speaker, more power to you. You can get out there and speak for days and days and days. But if all you do is speak and you're not filling that pipeline with more speaking opportunities, differentiated opportunities, meaning
Mhm.
courses and marketing opportunities and sponsorship. Like, I'm not playing about that Hulu, y'all. Y'all about to see me on something,
Okay.
right? These are things that if somebody, God is not a respecter of person. If one person can do it, so can you, and
Mhm.
we can all learn from each other, and that's what this collaboration is all about. So I want to
Hmm.
open up one last time for any last parting words of wisdom. What do you have to say about how to monetize your talk or whatever piece of content that you have in your hot little hands? uh,
One thing I
go-
would say is that, we've talked about people watching it, but we have not talked about actually building the tribe and capturing the interest of people who were interested in your talk. And so
mm,
when you are driving traffic to wherever, you need a way to capture that interest. And so what I would recommend is, of course, driving them back to your website, but you could even put together lead magnets that's a simple cheat sheet or worksheet that, love my TED Talk, download this worksheet and use it as like a companion content piece, because this way you can capture the interest. Because a lot of times, think about how many things you watch online, how many pages you scroll through on Instagram. Nobody's capturing your information when you're doing that. And so, in order to build your tribe, you need to capture that information. And so, for anyone that has had a TEDx talk or is preparing to do one, you're already ahead of the game because you can put this in place. But I would highly suggest a companion guide to go with your TEDx talk. It may be one sheet, it may be a workbook, but something that's interactive, that people can jot down their notes, ideas, or even what's one question you like to ask me and have them send it back to you, but something to capture interest so that you don't get people that were interested, but they're fleeting and they move on.
I love that.
And I would also add to that that if you are preparing a TED Talk or any kind of a talk or a program or whatever you're doing, this is the question that I love to pose to my speakers, authors, and others. What do you want people to do as a result of having been in your space?
Exactly.
Right.
What,
Mhm.
in what way are you going to hold them accountable?
Oh my
Because
goodness.
getting them to do that, planning your talk around the next,
Mhm.
what is the next step? Okay, so the first step is planning the talk, then you deliver the talk, then you leverage the talk. So, this is what has to be top of mind when you walk through that process. It's the blueprint.
That's exactly what it is. It is the blueprint. And I do both TEDx coaching and public speaking coaching. And I always talk to people about considering their audience, right? And so the one thing that I tell my clients all the time is know before you get on the stage, know what is it that you want them to know, what do you want them to feel, and what do you want them to do. So if you nail those three things in the audience, you know what you want. You came out here to tell them something, right? What you standing up there for? You came out here to tell them something. How do you want them to feel as a result of the things that they've just heard? And what is it that you expect them to do? And of course, depending on your talk topic, it could be a very, several different things you could say. But having that intentional framework, that blueprint, as Donna said, is very, very important. So if I do that on a stage, now you guys are telling me how I do that once I get off the stage. That is fantastic. Fantastic. Lynn, did you have something to add?
I did. So we were all talking about a journey. And so there's a learning journey, like just like there is a customer journey or your journey, Malika. And what I ask people is, how do they feel before they're working with you? How do they feel while they're working with you? And what happens after they're working with you? And if you capture each of those emotional states of mind, then you actually start the learning journey. That is the crux of the learning journey. And I've done this for people who just want to figure out how they want to reposition their consulting services. And it doesn't end up in a course. It just ends up in a new messaging plan and a new messaging campaign.
Got it.
But for the courses, for the purpose of courses, that's how you get a curriculum, because people have to get ready, then they have to learn, then they can do. And then one of the things that I realized is maybe they're not ready to create a course. So what do you have to do to get ready to create a course? So before I knew it, right. There's a roadmap.
So it's that reverse engineering. Like, okay, you might not be there yet, but let's start where you are. Absolutely. Where are you and what do you have? And I feel that speaks to me a little bit, Kimmy, in terms of those of us who think, well, I don't really have that much. I don't know what I'm actually putting out there. I'm sure you get that from your class all the time, right? Where like, okay, now for me, it was a TED Talk. But let me tell you, TED very specific about how much you can share. You just can't go out and rebroadcast the entire. You have to go to another person's platform, right? You have to go to TED.com to see my talk, or you can go to the YouTube channel that belongs to TED, right? And so there are some restrictions there. You can learn how to, clip and that sort of thing, but they're very specific, because TED means the whole mantra behind TED is an idea worth sharing. And so we're supposed to be very altruistic about it, but on a real, we all know that the reason why nobody cares that they don't get paid and will walk or drive themselves to the location is because they know they can use it on the back end. So what will you say, Kimmy, if I say, listen, all I have is the TED Talk and I only can use 30 seconds. I don't know what to say or do on social media. How can I leverage that?
Okay, so you can share the link with the title. You can pull out 5 different speaking points from that TED Talk. And each one of those speaking points, you can turn into a blog post and then embed the full TED Talk. Each one of those speaking points can be its own social media text caption. Each one of those speaking points can be an image. You can turn all 5 speaking points into an infographic. So as long as you got the talk, I can help you live off that talk. All you need.
That's that last for. That last, she's like, oh girl, please. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
And so you don't have to have a TED Talk, right? You can have a talk that you did anywhere. You can have several minutes of you doing an audio. You can have you being a guest on someone's podcast. Content that you have can be packaged and leveraged continuously.
Absolutely.
And in a way that you own it and you can control its destiny, so to speak, right? That's what I'm getting from this conversation.
Absolutely. And that's the way you should look at it. Like you said, and I notice people get excited. They did a TED Talk, like you said, but then they don't do anything with it. They don't leverage it. And the whole point is to leverage the brand of TED. So why not use that to springboard your platform, whatever that platform is? You would be so sick of me. You would know my name would be TED Miss Kenya. They'd be like, listen.
I told you they about to be sick of me, Kenya. Malika.
Exactly.
Malika's gonna be all over the place. So we have one comment. Felicia said, I love the non-sales conversation. And I want to talk a little bit about that in terms of talking the talk. This is where no pun intended. We did the TED Talk before the talk and after the talk, but you actually have to talk about it now. You got to put yourself out there a little bit, right? But they're all just conversations. And I love some of the suggestions that you gave where they were very conversational. Like, did you know I did a TED Talk?
Exactly.
Wait. Like, I love that. I love it because I wouldn't have necessarily thought about it. Or we think that we're overselling or overdoing or over talking. But how many times did we say something and somebody, Lynn, How many clients do you have when they're trying to put together a course and then they say, I feel like I've marketed this course and, nobody's coming to buy it, right? And then you go, well, how many times did you post? Well, Monday and Wednesday.
You know what the biggest mistake is? I'll tell you, there's two big mistakes. One of them is that they're talking to too many people at the same time. So they're not focused on one person in the audience. And the second thing is they're telling them too much. There's too much content in there. They need to break it down into much smaller pieces. Everybody I work with thinks they're going to create one course, ends up with 3.
Wow. So we have more than we think we have.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. I love it. Woo!
All you need is to talk.
Ladies, I've got sticky notes and notes all over the place. This has been fantastic. Allison says great information. Thank you so much, Allison. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes.
We are giving people some gems. Let's see, Renita. This is good eats. Yes, come on now. Yes, absolutely. This is scrumptious.
Yes.
Delicious is what this is. Yeah, I bet y'all didn't think y'all was gonna come in here and get all of this tea. Over here giving the tea. And to Lynn's point, right? Think about all of the tidbits that we talked about today. This is the tip of the iceberg. And we can't possibly tell you everything on, a 45-minute live, but we can certainly open your eyes to show you that there are things that you're probably not thinking about, and there's a process that you can use, and there are people that you need to put in your circle so that you can have the best visibility, the best branding situation as possible, right?
You ladies, co-marketing in action.
Co-marketing in action.
Really simple.
Collaboration is queen. We are
Yes, it is.
I want to thank you, queens, for sharing this evening with me and with our viewers. This has been fantastic. I have lots of notes. So listen, I just want to let everyone know who's watching. If y'all start to see me everywhere, it's not my fault. Okay. All right. I want to listen. Because I'm taking all of this stuff and it's about to get real. It's about to get real. But I really appreciate you ladies coming on and sharing with us this evening. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your wisdom. And I will be posting, of course, reposting the information and tagging. Oh, Kimya, you about to get tagged so much, girl.
I love being tagged because I share.
Okay.
And we're getting ready to create our little newsletters to follow up on all this great information, to reinforce it.
And you'll be hearing and seeing from all of us. So I want to thank you all again. Thank you so much and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.